Hello viewers, welcome to our program on immigration and you. I am your immigration attorney Michael Fulwani, and once again we have with us my law partner David Nachman. David, welcome.
Thanks so much, Michael. Pleasure to be here.
So by this time you have already celebrated Holi, throw the rung on each other. You know, but interesting thing about Holi, let me say if you don't mind. Holi was a time where we were in the college and the boys and girls were not like today's times and dating and all that. But this was one day in a year where you get a chance to throw on the, so it's a powdered mostly or maybe the liquid, but not the paint that you paint the home,
Right.
oil paintings. We throw on the girls and the girls sometimes throw on the boys, and there'll be, you know, some type of romantic things coming out of the, as a number of Bollywood movies have the holy scenes where the holy, so many songs. I can probably take rest of the time only talking about the holy songs in Bollywood movies, but we'll keep it for some other time. So this is something that they must have enjoyed.
Yeah, in the movie Outsourced, they also
Okay.
have the.
Yes. So let's go back to our immigration topic. Is that one of the things that recently was very hot, you might have seen on the TV programs and newspapers, is the funding issue. So every year there's a budget, and the budget was presented for the Homeland Security also. But this time what they did, President Obama wanted to add the expenses, I don't remember the amount, maybe about $1 billion or more, I guess, that to be given for these administrative memos that he's issuing. And when that happened, there was a big fight between Democrats, say they did not want to give any money on that. This matter, by the time that you are watching the program, might have been resolved, or is there any important breaking news on that? We'll scroll it on the TV program today. But the issue there was, or still is, that Republicans don't want to pay in money. At the time today when we are talking about, the Senate decided they will go ahead and pass the bill which will include these expenses that the President Obama wants. The Republicans are still not ready, but see, it's a very serious subject. And the critics are saying that if they stop giving money to the Homeland Security, the entire Homeland Security, we are not talking about they reject this, then there's no money for the TSA people, for the USCIS staff, ICE, CBP. They will either be working without any compensation, or some people may stop. This may hold disturb. I think 80% of the American publics will really take it very seriously if they really take out the funding for the Homeland Security completely. That's ridiculous.
Well, it's actually the politics of it is that they are going to argue that if you defund the Department of Homeland Security, then obviously the Republicans don't care about the nation's security. And look at all these security agencies that are not going to have money, so they're going to make them look bad politically. So that's the big issue.
So the issue that came in, remember, sometimes we were talking one of the programs that it could be self-funding. The immigrations, see the amount of fees, $400, $500, $600, $300, even on this program itself, from the administrative daily fees paid, they have to pay the taxes also.
Right. I'll bet our viewers wonder where their money goes when they pay those filing fees.
Yeah.
You know, those filing fees go toward the salaries of the individuals who are adjudicating those cases.
So why couldn't they just forget about adding money or creating this issue? If they'll be getting so much money, income coming out of these applications, they can easily support that.
Right.
But
I think we should remind our viewers, Michael, that the last time the government closed down, CIS stayed open, and the reason why is because they're a self-funded organization. They receive fees and put those fees toward their expenses. So they're not really wholly reliant upon the government's budget.
Yes, so I think there was an issue as to whether any kind of income comes in any government agency, goes to the general funding, and then they decide how to monitor. So the only other alternative to this is if they even pass a law or be very clear that all the money the immigration service is collecting can be used for their salaries and not going to the general fund and then begging them to give the money.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, politically, see, again, the question is the debate that has been going on in the funding as well as other issues, the same thing that we mentioned last time also, is that why are these problems happening? Because they did not pass the CIR. So now isn't there a feeling in some, even the Republicans and the Democrats, to maybe forget everything else, let us go back to the CIR. There's some feeling coming in. I don't know to what extent they can do it. They are getting frustrated and also worried. Republicans are worried that too much of this they do under funding or declaring this processing, whatever the administrative memos are illegal and constitutional and all that, may backfire. The backfire is going to affect them. I'm telling you, there are someone who are very much, as a matter of fact, in Senate, why did they say let us pass a clean bill? Some of the senators are worried that this will be a backfiring, and there's a division in the parties going on. Some Republicans say let it go, we'll deal with this later, let this go. And some of them say no, absolutely, we don't want nothing to do with these things.
Well, Michael, I think you said it in the last program very succinctly. I think that what you pointed out was that the president said in Miami at the address that he held in Miami about a week ago Wednesday, he said, "I'm very upset. I gave them the opportunity." He pointed out historically how the legislation had gone. He said that the Senate obviously came to a compromise. They were able to shake hands across the aisle, and they were able to come up with the S-744 bill, which you've heard Michael and I talk about on prior programs. That was the template or the foundation for a very nice comprehensive immigration reform bill. And then what ended up happening, unfortunately, is it died on the vine because it was never brought up by the Speaker of the House, by Mr. Bonner, never brought it up in the House for a vote. And had he brought it up for a vote, the president said that he felt confident that it would have been issued, it would have gone through. And then, of course, it would have gone to markup, and there would have been more compromise, and it would have landed up on the president's desk, and it could have been signed. So I think that there's a certain amount of animosity that the president has toward the way this is being handled politically. And I think that he was very strong in his voice when he said it in Miami.
Yeah, so that's the main issue that we have been talking about on a CIR, that it's only right thing to do for the Congress to actually have a discussion. And this guy Bonner, he does not even present the bill to the House. The given opportunity here, they want a debate, fine. Present it to the House, let the House make a discussion, make some amendments, make some changes, make some compromises. Then there's going to be a conference committee anyway between the bill. Every time what happens when the House passes the bill, Senate passes the bill, there are differences. There's a conference committee, I think about 12 people from each of the party. They sit down together and just sort out the differences. And if they agree upon compromise, if they compromise, CIR gets passed, we don't care. All these things will be taken away anyway, right?
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, that going back to President Bush's time, the House passed the bill and the Senate also passed the bill. And we were so confident because normally every time that happens, the conference committee, they work out. Unfortunately, they did not work out, and the bill died in the conference committee because they could not come to a conclusion. They should have learned a lesson from that this is now a right way to do is to compromise, to work out a deal, to make those changes which are acceptable to both the parties, reasonable, and which will also be acceptable to most of the American citizens in this country, and get on. I mean, this is a country of, my God, this is a country of immigrants, and the whole constitution is based on that. It says, right, where did America start from? It's 200, 250 years ago, right? Where did your grandfathers come from? Germany.
Western Europe, yeah.
Where did I come from? My granddaughter, a few years down the road, is going to say, what do you think where my grandfather come from? India. Right. So basically, they should be in that spirit, that this is a right thing to do for them, and let it get on going with the other matters. And so many issues we have, terrorism, this, that, and they keep on everything on the side and just fighting for this little thing, which is a humanitarian thing. Imagine if they can deport 14 million people. They cannot do that anyway. So one of the things that President Obama has been talking about very recently also in that Miami thing is the priorities. He says right now even you don't have to worry about that. They are not deported. I got shots and emails. One of the lawyers said that he got a hearing date on 2019. So the judges, everybody's getting a message. Don't do anything on these people. Pending deportation case, they put off for 2 years, 3 years. ICE is not arresting people unless there's a crime, unless there's terrorism. So you want to talk a minute or two on priorities?
Sure. What part of that would you like?
Priorities, as I said, that the normal person comes here, no crime committed, nothing, just staying illegally for some years. I tell them that really there's no reason for you to worry or have sleepless nights. Aaram se soiye, baithe rahiye, jo hoga aage dekhenge. But I'm saying, you have to make a comment on that.
Well, I think that historically we had a program that was called Secured Communities, right. And unfortunately the Secured Communities program did not go very well. The states resisted the secured communities programs. And what the president did was on November 20th announced what's called a PEP, a Priority Enforcement Program, which was substituted for the Secured Communities Program. The Priority Enforcement Program basically has to do with this lingo that the president.
But can I say a correction? Yeah. You said unfortunately, and I say fortunately it did not go well. because what they were doing.
Yeah, the Secured Communities Program had issues. There was no question.
Yeah, what it was basically, if the police arrest a person, at that time they used to notify the immigration service, ICE people, and they will come and arrest and take away. So this thing, the secret communities, a lot of states, they did not like that. The enforcement authorities, the police says, why you are putting a burden on this for the immigration? That's your job. We have other things to do, terrorism, crimes and everything. So they kind of slowly came out of it, and they refused to comply with that. So then the picture changes.
Well, the Secured Communities Program was very expansive, and it had a lot to do also with having foreign nationals assist law enforcement agents to try to figure out what's going on in the communities. And so it had its pluses, it had its minuses, but overall there was a tremendous amount of resistance, especially in the large cities. It became sort of an unworkable program altogether, and it sort of went by the wayside. But the PEP program, the Priority Enforcement Program, this is the new program that the president announced on November 20th, has to do with this lingo that the president says about we want to deport felons and not families. So essentially what that is that the highest priority of the United States is first to work on utilizing the resources that are available by the Immigration Customs Enforcement. These are the law enforcement agents within the immigration realm, to deport or to remove individuals who are first national security threats. So these are folks who are terrorists. Then, of course, to go after individuals who have crimes in their background. And these are not the smaller crimes necessarily, but the bigger crimes. So you're talking about individuals who are convicted felons, individuals who are not, I guess, in the way the government would look at it, desirable folks to have here.
See, as the president of the country, President Obama does not have the authority to change the law, and he has the responsibility for enforcement of the laws. So he cannot say to the immigration people, ICE and all that, don't deport anybody. He cannot say that, because that will be like interfering with the law, and the law says if a person is deportable, he can be deported. But what he's doing, which is correctly, I think that is within the powers of the administration to prioritize. The Obama was saying that there are so many criminals, even some terrorists still in the country, and the police is, the ICE or the immigration service is taking care of all the things together in the block, which means they are paying a lot of attention and work also on those people who are just illegal here, no crimes and all that. So he says, let me prioritize. This way, first you pay more attention to the terrorists. Secondly, to the persons who have committed serious crimes. Thirdly, if those people have been deported, orders outstanding and not been gone yet, and then comes the rest of them. And don't really waste your time much upon those people who are innocently waiting here, just illegally staying, working hard, having children, going to schools, colleges. So this prioritizing is something that they are implementing. Actually, we have seen that in most cases, USCIS and ICE and even immigration judges, they are following on that, which is a good news. So that's what we said, that there's really a lot of clients come to see you, sue me, and they are just illegally worried they cannot sleep. The wife comes then, raat bhar sote nahi hai, keeps on thinking, dreaming. I don't think you should really worry about that. Just wait what happens. We hope that CIR will pass someday, if not within a few months, a couple of years, 3 years. Something has to happen. We cannot just keep 14 million people illegally in the country. David?
Exactly. Well, it's really what deferred action really means, Michael, is it's synonymous with priorities, because that's essentially what you're doing is you're deferring action, which means you're deferring the removal or the deportation of an individual who doesn't meet those priorities, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, thank you very much, David, for being on the program. We are running out of the time as usual, and we will be bringing to you most latest information in our forthcoming programs. Please keep watching us every Saturday and Sunday around 11:40 a.m. Thank you very much, and goodbye.